Let's roll.
Yeah.
First kick, I snap into action. When I'm digging in the trenches, get dominated off the line of scrimmage. Read and react quick to make it early diagnosis. Hit you with the quick release like Marino Danny dopeness. Explosive change of direction in the true essence of Reggie Bush. From JT and ZT to DVP and AVG. Terminator to a quarterback, Hunter JP. Steve Ross, the boss, King Flow, and card slinging, gambling genius, slick Chris Greer.
Yee.
Yeah.
Hey. Good morning, guys. So how you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning, man. I'm doing great. How you doing this morning, Kendall?
Oh, he's right when you introduce him, he decided to hide.
That's all right.
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. It's good to have you on Dolphins Daily, man. Thanks for stopping in with us.
Be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, great, man.
It looks colder where you guys are. I'm in South Florida, man. Both of you guys got like sweat stuff going on there. So I'm in like
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Oh yeah.
So.
You guys both a little cooler than South Florida.
Oh yeah, dude.
You had some snow yesterday, Justin?
Yeah, we had snow yesterday. We had woke up this morning, had some snow again. It's a little chilly here. So it's regular Colorado weather though. Like I'll go outside in my what I'm wearing right now and I'll shovel out my driveway. People are probably looking at me like, damn, I bet you he's really cold, but I'm a native from here, so
Yeah, I know. It's still amazing that you're a native Colorado guy and you didn't grow up a Bronco fan or whatever.
No, absolutely not, man. No way, dude. This is Dolphins all the way over here, baby. Aqua and orange.
I know. I talk to you every day and I see that background. I know. It's just funny. But I know Dan Marino. I see your Dan Marino picture back there. So that gets everyone. He got them booked. So, Kendall, how did you become a Dolphin fan?
Yeah, I grew up. I was originally born in Wisconsin, grew up in Atlanta, and I just never really liked any of my home teams. And so I grew up, I'm a younger guy. I'm only 26. So I just grew up as the underdog, like supporter always. And, the early 2000s, early 2010s too was just like the Tom Brady GOAT era, him winning Super Bowls, or at least every single year. It seemed like he was in the playoffs. And I hated that dude, man.
Right.
It seemed like Miami always gave them a fight. And so I just caught myself just always, rooting for the Dolphins. Everybody else just got stomped by Tom Brady. And I mean, we got stomped too, but hey, we gave him a fight.
No, we did. Every year you could. Even if New England went on to win the freaking Super Bowl, the Dolphins normally would give them at least one tough battle a year, So it's like it was, you definitely, if you root for the underdog, it's easy to root for the Dolphins the past couple of decades, So it's like we've been the underdog for 2 decades, it seemed like. I have a 20-year-old son, and he's never even been on the earth since the Dolphins won a playoff game. So that's pretty sad. So
yeah, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, we got to change that this year.
For sure.
So I guess you guys saw the big news that the Dolphins got flexed last night. They got flexed to Sunday Night Football for the Chargers game. So that's going to be – there was already going to be a lot of hoopla for that game because everyone's going to make it Tua versus Herbert. Now it's really going to be amped up because for whatever reason that topic gets people all fired up on Twitter between those two guys.
Yeah, they'll be linked together forever, like we were talking about previously on the show. Like as well as Kendall knows just as well, those two will be linked together for the rest of their careers. I think it's an awesome thing though for the game to get flexed out. It shows that we're getting a little bit of national media, a little bit of love out there in the what I call the real NFL world. We're getting like that love that we've never really gotten before. People are starting to look at the Dolphins maybe a little bit differently. We're starting to get, taken maybe just a little bit seriously, which is a great thing too, before we get too much carried away though, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You're watching live Dolphins Daily with myself, JPF Scout, and Rob, Dolphins Thirsty, and our great guest today, Kendall. You can follow Kendall at KD Mac, right, Kendall, at Twitter?
It's KD Mac 15.
Yep, KD Mac 15.
Yep, KD Mac 15.
Yeah.
Yep. before we get going too far carried away as well, I want to ask Kendall as well. What do you think about the Dolphins team right now as it currently sits? And where did you have us projected? How many games did you have us winning and losing from the beginning? And what do you think about the team going forward as it sits right now?
I had the team in the preseason at 11-6. I still think we're in the 11-6, 12-6 range or 12-5 range.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, ourselves being without Tua for 2.5 games. But I told everybody if we can go 3-2 that first 5 game stretch, then that's pretty much all we had to do. Of course, the 3 games that I wanted to win were going to always be the Patriots, the Bills, and the Jets.
Yep.
Fortunately, we were able to go 3-0 at first, and then drop 3 games after that. But we've been on a undefeated streak since then. I think these next 6 games is going to really tell a lot about this team.
Oh, no, for sure. It gets tough, especially the next 3 on the road. None of them they're all tough. All teams battling for playoff spots in their own divisions and for wild cards. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be tough.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I think we talked about it a little bit yesterday. This will be the telltale sign of what your team really is made out of. We'll know what we have after we come out of this 3-game stretch, whether we're ready to, move on further, get into the playoffs, win a couple of games or not, because this is going to be like a battle-tested thing. We're going into enemy territory, hungry sharks swimming in enemy waters out there. They're going to be wanting to come after us. The weather's not going to be in our favor as well. I think it'll be a little bit colder. We're going to be faced up with a familiar nemesis and a foe that Mike McDaniels has never faced before. And Kyle Shanahan knows his game, probably knows his tendencies, knows what he's going to call. It's a game that everything it seems is our backs are up against the wall. But I really still feel that the Miami Dolphins are going to come out there and play one of their better games of the season, starting with this game against the 49ers. I think they're going to try to buckle it down and get them off balance with a lot of different looks and formations, starting with I would come out there rolling with a lot of 12 and 13 formation looks. I'll bring up some film later in the week and put it on the Digging in the Trenches. And I'll show you how they are going to block Bosa with a tight end and chip. I think they're going to be doing a lot of different things. It's a very intriguing matchup. Honestly, Tito, my boy Tito, said this could also possibly be an intriguing Super Bowl matchup for the future. I agreed with him because the teams are both stacked on both sides of the ball. I love the way we match up against the 49ers from both sides of the ball. Kendall, and also you, Rob, too. How do you guys feel about the matchup, and where do you think that maybe we can exploit this? And obviously, the Bosa thing scares you guys, but what else is like catching your eye out of their offense and also their defense that catches your eye and makes you want to pay attention? And the Dolphins should pay attention to that.
Yeah, I let you go first, Kendall.
Hit it on the head with the 12 and 13 personnel. Specifically, I think what gives me confidence going into this game is that Cleveland Browns matchup. Specifically, what Myles Garrett said about how it seemed like our game plan was prepared for everything they were going to throw out at him. Of course, we're not going to have Armstead in this game. It's looking like we don't necessarily know that yet, but I think we'll have a better idea today as the injury report comes out.
Mm-hmm.
But I think has to have a game plan specifically on how to block Bosa. He's up there with the Myles Garretts and the TJ Watts of the world. And if you don't have a game plan for it, then you're screwed. So I think the biggest thing as far as the matchup that I want to look at, though, is these linebackers on both teams.
Yeah.
For the 49ers, I don't have to say much. We all know they're studs.
Dude, they're
Fred
legit.
Warner.
No, they're great. They're a whole good unit, the whole team, unfortunately, on defense. Yeah.
And outside of Bosa that probably is going to be keeping McDaniel up at night, it's going to be Fred Warner. just because a lot of what we do is manipulating not only safeties and cornerbacks to his eyes, but it's also about getting linebackers to either move up or move back based off of the play action pass. So if we're not able to, manipulate them because it's schemes that they've seen before, it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of tight windows for Tua to throw into, which I think he can do. But you want to make the game easy for the entire offense by manipulating those linebackers and being able to see if we can do that with run lanes and play action pass. So we have to do that. As far as us, our linebackers, it's all about tackling in open field. They're either going to manipulate us once again with eyes for the linebackers, with these different run lanes and cutback lanes, or they're going to get Christian McCaffrey out in space with short passes and try to get him some yak. And if Baker, Roberts, Van Ginkel, those guys can't, make an open field tackle, then it's going to be a long day for us.
No, for sure. They're definitely going to do. They definitely need to do good, solid tackling. Let them get the ball, but you're still going to have to tackle them in an open space, or they're going to, like you said, it's going to be a long day. I agree wholeheartedly on that. That was going to be one of my takes. So good job. They definitely got to do open field tech, and they've been better lately. The Dolphins, I have to give them credit. As the season's gone on, they've done better at making tackle in open spaces. Because in the past, we would get wiggle out or just do a sloppy tackle, and they would break the tackle, and they would. What should have been a 1 yard gain turns into a 12-yard first down, So it's
true.
They've been a lot better there. So yeah, he hit all the good points. And like I say, and then we're gonna have to be able to adjust on offense because 49ers are probably going to take because Tua's best at killing guys across the middle, hitting his targets in the middle of the field. But like in the Steelers game, we had that wide open in the beginning. Then the Steelers made adjustments and didn't give us those, and then we struggled the rest of the game. So we're going to have to find something to, that we can adjust to if they take the middle away, if they start taking those, because Tua's killer. I mean, he's elite throwing across the middle to like Tyreek and Waddle and Kraft and all of those guys. So it's crazy.
When they adjusted to that, once again, the Cleveland Browns game, the Cleveland Browns took away a lot of those intermediate passing lanes, a lot of that the middle and in between the numbers away. And that's why, like, some of those passes, that touchdown pass to Sherfield was great. That comeback route from Tyreek Hill where Tua's got pressure in his face and he just lofts it up, and Tyreek goes up and gets it. Those are routes that Tua is going to have to hit because I know D'Amico Ryans is going to have a game plan for in between the numbers, in that intermediate range.
See, I think you just hit on a key point right there, Kendall. You're talking about the throws where I know exactly what throw you're talking about, where he threw it off his back foot because he had pressure coming from his right, and it was like to a spot where Tyreek was going to be, and he caught it on the sideline and made the toe tag swag catch. Yeah, those are the throws he's going to have to make. Kendall's right, because D'Amico's going to set something up to have everything in the middle of the field occupied. And like I said, I was up till like 2 o'clock in the morning last night looking at 49ers film. I've got a really good idea about what's going on. I think the way to attack them is going to be just what Kendall was just talking about, outside the numbers. If we can start attacking them outside the numbers, I think we might have some success. I think they're going to try to shut us down from inside out.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, what do you guys think about maybe using that a 23 personnel or a 22 personnel, but one of the running backs is Tyreek? Now we can get into some favorable matchups that way by using motion, Joe motion, orbit motion, a lot of different motions, window dressings, the way the 49ers already do.
Right.
And the crazy part about this game is that it's like a mirror image of each other. You know what I mean? It's like we're going up against ourselves.
Oh, no, for sure.
And the best way, I think, to counter this, and I think this is going to be one of those greasy, ugly, downright fought games to where it's a defensive battle. It's going to be one on the line of scrimmage, and then it's also going to be one on special teams. I think this is a huge key point. When I was going through the film last night, I noticed a lot of stuff that they do, even from a special teams aspect, that we're going to need to be ready for. And then I also seen some stuff that we could take advantage of.
Oh,
now, like when they come off on a punt, try to line up for a punt block, they're serious about that punt block, bro. They line up with that Willis, I think his name's Jared Willis, 75, and they'll put him right up over the center, and they'll bring him right up the gut and try to block the punts like that. We got to be ready for that with some blocking. We better be prepared because they'll try to come after our kicks. And I think it's going
to struggle, right? The special teams.
Exactly, bro. And I think that's where they're going to try to hit us, man.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I think we lost Rob. Froze up there for a second. He'll come back though. What do you think, Kendall, about that special teams and what I was saying right there with Hill out of the backfield using
both of you guys? Oh, there you are. I think it's my internet today of all days. You know, we get a guess, and my internet has like one little bar here.
Yeah, it happens, bro.
You know, the Wi-Fi is getting wonky on me, and I just got a message that we lost our Facebook feed, but they're blaming it on Facebook, and it's an issue on the Facebook, so we just got the YouTube going right now.
That's fine.
So yeah, it's all good. But anyway, so who was talking? I'm sorry because my internet fell for a minute.
Oh, that's all right. I was seeing what Kendall thought about what I was just saying there with using Hill and everything I was just talking about right there. What do you think about that, Kendall?
I like that concept. I think that the reason why we haven't really seen Tariq in the backfield as much as maybe, you know, he was doing in Kansas City is just because of the threat of pushing the ball deep. I like it in red zone just because, you know, the windows are going to be tighter regardless. You don't have to worry, like defenses aren't really worried about, you know, Tariq going over your head for 30 yards. But I just can't really see it in the middle of the field just because most of the routes that he's running right now, it's either he's getting it or he's like a decoy. It's like he's stretching the defense so much because they're like, okay, he's either going to run past us or run by us. So we just have to keep somebody over him. We're just going to give you everything underneath. I would much rather, if we're going to do that 2-3 that you kind of said, I would much rather have maybe like a Jeff Wilson and then Ingold there, maybe one just blocking and then the other another running a route, just because this is probably going to be outside of the Bills and the Jets, the line that we've seen. I want to see more games before I sit here and say, oh, the San Francisco 49ers or the Jets have the better D-line or the Bills have the better D-line, just because they're all dominant D-lines. And us not having or potentially not having Armstead, with Shell struggling last week, with AJ struggling last week, I don't even know what his injury diagnosis is, if he'll ever be back or if he's going to be back this week. We need to protect Tua. That's the only chance that we have of winning this game.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what it boils down to. You're going to have to keep Tua upright and just give him enough time to do what he does. And I do agree with you, Justin. There's going to be a lot more quick hitting stuff, and there's going to be, but you are going to have to keep someone in because our pass rush, our pass protection against the pass rush, it was just brutal once Armstead went out last week, and we just happened to be facing, like Kendall said, one of the best lines coming forward, you know. And it's going to be a tough battle, and you're going to have to leave some guys in to probably, like you say, chip off, you know, be like the second line of defense, you know, once, you know, if they get past their line. Because you don't want Tua getting killed, obviously in the game because you want to win the game, but just injured-wise, you know, you just don't want to get him killed in this game and going down the stretch. But I think, like you said, McDaniel is going to have, he's been on point so far this year, you know, other than some maybe like some people question some time management towards the end of the first half, something. But overall, he's been, you know, pretty on point for a rookie coach. We can't complain. He's game planned very well.
There's also there's different ways they can also move the pocket and have other guys coming over there, obviously to help chip and move things around. But we'll see what the game plan is. I know they'll have one. Like you were talking about, you're more comfortable with one of them. If we're going to do like a 22 or 23, one of them being Ingold, one of them being Wilson, I think they'll mix and match with those combinations right there. Like maybe on one play, they'll use Ingold. Maybe on one play, we'll see, like you said, near the goal line, Tyreek is something I would really like to see. Maybe they'll use something like that. I'm with anything they can use to protect Tua as well. Like I'm even down to use a 14 formation if they want to jump out of jumbo. I also seen the Saints were employing a sixth offensive lineman. I'm okay with that as well. If you can get success out of it, like if you want to employ a sixth offensive lineman and throw out of it, I'm okay with that as long as you're having success doing that.
Right.
I want to protect Tua too, and that's this is a good time for us to segue into the next segment. Kendall kind of just talked about it a little bit, not knowing the status of Austin Jackson, not knowing the status of Teron Armstead. If we can really sit here and just spitball a little bit and just put on our caps, I don't think Teron Armstead's going to play. I think he'll be ruled out of the game today.
Oh, yeah.
And then what they're going to do from there, I started looking at the roster, the way they have it lined up. Take everything into consideration and take this with a grain of salt. They had last week Kendall Lamb and Rashard Hill in for a tryout. So he is kind of already a little bit familiar with what we're trying to do. So I think what they'll end up doing is either promoting Kendall Lamb or Lamont Gaillard. But realistically, it needs to be either Lamb or Keon Smith. And if that's the case, I'd just go ahead and bring maybe even both of them up if you had to, because we don't know the status of Jackson. We're going to lose Teron. We're going to need two guys. If they did something like that, maybe they work with using that sixth offensive lineman like we were talking about a little bit. I was kind of going over those DM messages we're both involved in, Kendall, and noticed you talking a little bit about Kendall Lamb, and I agree with everything you said about him. He's not that great of a run blocker, but a pretty good pass protector. You know, he's decent. He's started 28 games in this league, has a little bit of experience. It scares me. But what do you guys think about the propositions of those two being promoted, or what do you think the direction will be?
No, I agree with you. I mean, unfortunately, it's not necessary. It's a necessary evil at this point with how we got dealt. I mean, there's not too much you can do. We need healthy bodies, whether they're good at this point or bad. Unfortunately, we need the bodies up there. So yeah, 100% what you said. So, like you say, it's scary, but I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you're bringing a guy off the street almost and having him a chance to play right away. It's tough, but we're in the bind right now, and so you got to do, that next man mentality. But that's really stretching it. But hey, hopefully, he can be up and running as quick as possible.
Right.
Instead of bringing a guy up off the street and having him play literally within a week, but you have to do what you have to do. We're only talking about this because both of our tackles went down, which I think should have been something that they addressed in the offseason of, Teron Armstead, has not played a full season in a while. And I mean, I get it. You go out and get Teron Armstead because he's the best available tackle and the guy is a stud, but you gotta have some type of backup plan that doesn't include moving Austin Jackson or doing anything else like that. We lucked into Shell giving us some great games at right tackle for us. Great might be a little stretch, but a good game, serviceable games at right.
He's been good.
That's the move that we really need to be talking about. Is last game he was playing at left tackle, terrible, completely terrible. He needs to be right back at right tackle.
Right. Yeah,
exactly. He needs to be right back at right tackle. Figure the left tackle out and if you know Tua, that's the side that he's going to be looking at anyway. So having someone who's unfamiliar with the position at left tackle is not the worst thing, but the right tackle needs to be shored up. And I think that, moving Shell back over there is how you do it.
Who's playing left tackle then?
Questions that need answers.
See what I'm saying? Like, dog, literally we're stuck with either playing Greg Little at left tackle, which scares the living bejesus out of me, or putting dude that we just had for a tryout last week playing left tackle, or Robert Jones. I mean, that's what we're left with.
No, we are. I know, but like you say, it's it is what it is. It's definitely what we're left with. So, but I definitely agree with Kendall. Why make two areas bad? You might as well, because at least Brandon Shell would make that, solidify that one, and then whoever you see doing the best of the weekend practice on, whatever. We're not there every day watching them, whatever. So just roll with what you got at left, but don't hurt the right to try to make the left a little better when Shell's not really great at left. So solidify the right and worry about the left come Sunday.
I agree. So don't rob Peter to pay Paul.
Right,
the
exactly.
scariest part is we really don't even know how good Robert Jones is at left guard, just because he had Armstead to the left of him
and Connor to the right of him.
And Connor to the right of him. So he's surrounded by studs. Now you have Connor to the right of him. You're really going to be exposing that left side regardless if you put little Jones there. So I don't really think that there is a correct answer as a fan to really say, oh, put this person there, put this person there. It's really, I think it's going to come down to a McDaniel, Applebaum, Smith decision on, who's practicing the best, who gives them the best chance the week of. And you literally have to almost always scheme up, a fullback, a running back, a tight end being on that side to help out.
Yeah, absolutely. My buddy Kevin just mentioned in here that Chris Greer's biggest downfall is that he can't identify offensive line. I'm a Chris Greer fan, but his biggest blind spot has been the offensive line, that he can't identify linemen. It's true. I agree with my buddy Kevin right there. It's exactly the problem Chris Greer has, is he doesn't put enough focus onto the offensive linemen. I think Kendall would agree with that. He doesn't really believe in offensive line, and he doesn't believe in the running back position. Those are the two where he doesn't really he don't care.
I don't necessarily think that he doesn't believe in it. I just think that there was so much turmoil in the organization. When you see other organizations who are good with offensive line, there's some sort of consistency there with it when it comes to O-line coaching, offensive coordinator coaching, and things like that. And because we haven't had that consistency, those are the people who go to the GMs and say, hey, this guy coming out of Kansas State, this guy coming out of Alabama, this guy coming out of Ole Miss, he might not be on your radar, but I'm seeing pieces in his technique. If we get him in the building, he's going to be good. And that's why you see teams like Kansas City hit on guys in the 4th and the 5th round. And two, you don't expect 1st, 2nd, and 3rd round picks to come in the day one and, immediately produce.
No, I agree.
4th round, 5th round picks who can probably sit a year, get their technique together, or at least maybe sit 3 to 6 games before a guy ends up getting injured or anything happens, and they're able to pick up on different things in the NFL. We've asked Austin Jackson. We've asked Robert Hunt. We've asked Liam Eichenberg. We've asked Solomon Kinley to be the guy from day one, and it hasn't worked out. And that's just a formula for not being successful. And so it kind of kills me as, me and you talk about we talk about the upcoming draft, and we're seeing guys and we're talking about it. And I'm just like, I just don't think that maybe it's smart to draft a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round just because of the situation that we're in. If we draft a guard in the 2nd or 3rd round, as fans, we're going to have the itch he needs to be a day one starter. He needs to produce. And the second that he doesn't, he's a bust.
Well, that's what happened to Eichenberg, man. They moved up to get Eichenberg. So it's not like Career didn't try to get guys. He just kind of missed on some guys, or it's just, like Kendall said, we probably just didn't give Eichenberg the time to grow. We just were ready to throw him out with the bathwater. He stinks.
Yep.
He was thrown in a bad situation too, but it's just because they moved him around too. Like, oh, he's a tackle, oh, he's a guard, and it's not easy. It's hard enough to come into the NFL and learn one freaking position and then try to learn a few at the same time. That's tough too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that they've been put in some bad spots as prospects, and you know what? Sometimes as fans, we kind of are rough on them, and you know what? Sometimes it's deserving, and sometimes maybe it shouldn't be, and we should give them a little bit more time. But I got a question for you, Kendall, about Austin Jackson specifically. I watched him play last weekend, man, and I'll be honest with you, I wasn't really impressed. I think there's times where the dude literally looks like he's lost. When he needs to get a hold of somebody and actually secure the block, he won't. And then sometimes he surprises me and stonewalls a guy. It's just the inconsistencies a part of his games that really kill me. And it's like something that I just think the dude is – I just don't know, man. I'm not a big fan. Tell me what you think's going on down there.
Pressure. I mean, and I don't want to make excuses for these young guys because, like we said, it's a mixture of is the guy or not? Does he have it in him? And it's a mixture of coaching. It's a mixture of situation and other circumstances. But um, I think we were able to see Austin Jackson gain a little confidence throughout the off season. Um, you know, play some good preseason games, get some traction in some of the practices and the joint practices, and then, the first game of the season get injured. We don't know how, healthy he was coming back from, in the Houston game. I think that the Houston game was the perfect game to start him though, just because he's not going against an elite pass rusher. He's not going up against any of the Bosa brothers or, TJ Watt or anybody like that. It was the best game to bring him back. But I think he's 23 and he's just inconsistent. He reminds me of, some of these rookies coming out. They're just super inconsistent. I mean, I don't think that he should be a starter this year if we get our lineups back together. But there's just so much upside in him, and that's why I said you had to start him the Houston game, because if he does piece things together, he's super young. Same thing with Eichenberg, and we all know how it is with linemen. If you hit on a good one, you have them for 10, 15 years. So I'm not going to give up on him yet, but I am disappointed in his performance, and the guy's got to stay healthy too.
Yep, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Before Eichenberg got hurt, don't you think things were maybe starting to come together a little bit for him? I mean, I think he was playing a little bit better. Maybe wasn't like blowing anybody away or anything, but I think for him personally, I thought he was playing a little bit better.
Performance of his career almost. That I think it was the Lions game where he got hurt. He was doing pretty well. But to be honest, going into the Lions game, I was ready to move on from Liam Eichenberg. Before that game, he was literally the weak link on the line. Now we have weak links at tackle, but he was the weak link at the guard spot. Don't really know if it was a mixture of the Detroit Lions being the Lions, and that's why he was having success, or he was piecing things together. But once again, it's another young guy. I'm glad it's not necessarily, if I'm not mistaken, it's not a season-ending injury. He can still be with the team, still have another maybe off season where you bring the guy back and he continues to learn. But I think that with our starting five that we have, take away Shell actually, so starting four, I think you build around those and Austin Jackson, and going into this offseason as we're talking about drafting and free agency, you have Armstead, you have Hunt, you have Williams. Those are the guys that we're going to build around. And then we really need to address at least one guard and one tackle in this offseason, and just pretty much treat Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg like they're going to be backups, and just have them continue to learn the system, continue to work on technique, gain confidence, and hopefully they things come together. But we just can't take another offseason where we're relying on those two guys anymore.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to have to definitely find some way. I know we're going to be up against the cap, but Gesicki's going to come off the books. So hopefully we can use some of that money towards an offensive line, So it's like, I don't know. I know we're up there. We got to pay Wilkins, and we got to pay all, it's going to be tight, but we have to hit on the draft if it's the best. But, like you guys pointed out, Greer, that's not been his strong suit, finding talent in the draft. And it's not all on Greer. It's like all of our scouts or some, there's miscommunication somewhere. It's just because I'm older than a little both you guys. It's been a long time since we drafted like a Richmond Webb and a Keith Sims that just pound, from their rookie years.
Corner and safety, though, we just can't get them at some of the other key positions where we're struggling.
We do well on the defensive backs. I mean, I don't know if that's some coaching or whatever, but I mean, Cater Coho basically, undrafted, could have gone to any team. We got lucky. He chose the Dolphins, that we were aggressive, probably went and got him as an undrafted. And then McKinley out there and safety comes up. I mean, that's just crazy, but we just don't get lucky on the offensive line because I already forget the kid's name, but we paid some guy more than anyone to be an offensive lineman. And then he didn't even make the team. He's on some other team's practice squad now.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Ty Clary. I think he ended up going to the Packers, and we ended up paying his contract. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because they gave him more than what most undrafted. We gave him more than what most undrafted free agents get.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we tried to start, he said, "Bye, Dolphins," and he left to another team. So that was tough. But
robbed us.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
people's contracts to be on other teams. We've done that so much in the last 5 years, man. It kills us.
No, it does.
It hurts.
Yeah, no, it does.
Like, it's crazy that we're talking about this right now. But Kendall, can you touch a little bit on the salary cap situation for the Miami Dolphins and where we sit currently and what we're looking like going forward? Maybe where we could clear up some space, some creative ways. Maybe you're thinking that they're going to move forward.
I don't know the salary cap situation right now.
It's $5 million.
I was just so happy to get Chubb and Jeff Wilson in the building. I'm low key scared to even look at it, but at the end of the day, if you're all in, you're all in. Next year, we really have to, and I hate to say this because Baker is having, a pretty solid year, but
he's playing.
I think when you're looking at salary cap and you're looking at players for the future, the Dolphins have to stop paying players for what they've done in the past and start to pay players for what we project for them in the future. If you don't see Jerome Baker being a top 10 linebacker in the league, we can't continue to pay him as a top 10 linebacker in the league because his production doesn't put him at anywhere near top 10. I think right now he's playing at 18th.
Yep.
And so we have to do something with his contract, whether that's restructure, whether that's, shipping him out. And I don't think that you're able to do that until 2024. But that's just a guy that I'm going to have my eyes on. We're going to have to sign Wilkins. We're going to have to figure something out with Byron Jones. And there's a lot of different Miami Dolphins conspiracy theories on what he's doing.
I know.
And I'm not going to get into that because we can go down the rabbit hole.
I agree. I would just take it for his word. He's injured, and like you, I hear those same conspiracies too. I just take it for his word and what the team's saying. He's injured and he's not ready to practice. It is what it is.
1-year-old corner who's getting paid top 10 money. Right now he's tied for 9th with J.C. Jackson. I don't think he's ever really given top 10 corner production as far as interceptions, as far as really being a number one corner. And so, I hate to say it because I love the guy. He's a Dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
But some contract, like I said, there's theories that he's holding out for more money. Nobody's going to pay him more than 16.5, which he's getting paid yearly right now for a 31-year-old corner.
Yep.
So, it's growing more and more on me that if I don't get a notification that he's starting to practice, then I don't think that he's coming back for the season. But just going back to the original topic, that's going to be something that we have to address. We're going to have to continue to restructure people like Tariq Hill, Teron Armstead, Xavier Howard, give them more money and signing bonus, do whatever we need to do to get under the cap. And people is just going to be key. Like, everybody looked at the salary cap last year and was like, oh, we have $60 million. We have the number one most money in cap. But what you don't see is it goes so quick because we have people on these 1 year and 2 year deals. So yeah, we have $60 million dollars to sign people, but we only have 30 people under contract. And so you have guys that are key players, and you don't necessarily think they're key players because they don't necessarily start on offense and defense, but they're special teams guys, they're depth guys. They're on 1 year deals, making vet minimum, doing different things like that. And every single year you have to continue to play catch up. So it's going to be interesting to see how Chris Gear, and the guy's really good with this, and his team is good at, manipulating the cap. But you gotta sign people like that. I want to see Sealer here.
Oh, hell
I
yeah.
want to see.
Hell yeah.
I want to see Watkins here. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Andrew Van Ginkel. I don't know when his contract is up. I think it might be
It's this season.
2024.
It's this year. He's playing in
Oh,
a
it's this year.
contract year.
Yep, he's in a
Yeah.
contract season now.
Van Ginkel's he's good, but we need to revamp this linebacker room. That's what's killing us right now.
I think on the open market, he's going to get a lot of money that the Dolphins are probably going to say, well, go take the offer, because he's good. But like you say, he doesn't even get that much time. But Ingram just signed a 1-year deal too. So I don't know if they just go with Van Ginkel over Ingram. But Ingram's been one of our biggest consistent pass rushers this year. So I don't know. It's just, one of those things. And then we gave Ogball the money in the offseason right before free agency opened up. And then,
that's where I was going to touch on next. I think Agba is something that we're definitely going to have to address because his production this season,
was down before he got hurt.
Yeah,
Good morning,
it was.
Steve.
Morning, Steve.
So, anyway, Agba was already down, and then he got hurt, so that didn't help matters any. And I was okay when they signed him right before, because I think it was the day before the free agency, or the morning you hear like, oh, they inked him to a long term, so he won't be hitting the market. But, it's just like you say, his production's been down for sure. That's just like the Dolphins' luck sometimes. They ink these guys with the big deals, and then their production level falls off.
Right.
I think
a good thing about his contract that I don't think like guys like Tariq or Armstead, who are certified studs, of course, have is I think Agba's has, and this is something that I'm going to have to do research on. I think he has an out. So we definitely either got to explore that out with him, restructure, do something in order to manipulate next year, or even trade him, which I don't necessarily know if he has any type of value at the money that he's getting paid. But we have to do something with him because our premier pass rushers are just going to be Chubb and Phillips. Yeah, we might get some guys off the street to come in and produce like a Trey Flowers, like an Ingram that we're paying for minimum money, but we just can't afford to keep Agba.
No, I know that was rough all year. And just like we're saying, we're basically paying Gesicki for a couple touchdowns and a couple of targets a game here and there. Yep. So and we were all for like, okay, we franchise tag him, but now that's like $11 million that you could have had for another offensive lineman that would have come in a lot more handy at this point.
Oh, hell yeah, would have, dude. I would have rather had the offensive lineman than Mike Gesicki. I mean, you could use that right now. I mean, hell, I'll take Liam Eichenberg back right now and be like, yes.
Yeah, I know. So, that was, that's why there's no way. I mean, Gesicki's gone. I know he likes playing here supposedly, but there's no way he's going to hit the open market. He's gone. So, that's going to be that's what, $11 million off the books. So, but, we have to play we got to play Christian Wilkins. I mean, the man's, great. He brings the motor.
Absolutely.
And then what he does off the field, he does a lot of good. I mean, he's just like a leader. And if you lose a guy like that, it's tough in the locker room because you're like, oh, man, this guy went all out, did everything, and they still didn't pay the man. So hopefully they find a way.
It's going to be interesting. Him and Quinnen Williams are going to get paid this offseason. I think Quinnen Williams and Christian Watkins, I don't know who is better, but I think Quinnen Williams just might get a bigger bag.
Yeah, I think so.
What he means,
he would get a bigger bag.
He means to that defense. But why Christian? He's the heart and soul of our defense right now.
Yeah, that's what,
used to. I feel like it used to kind of be our corners, but with them aging, I think that. Just his energy brings something to this defense that we can't afford to lose.
No, he just brings it in. He even runs down. He just does so much. I mean, it's just like he's a good team guy. He's really good, and I just hope it doesn't become a numbers thing.
Yeah,
down the road.
I think the thing
under his 5th-year option next year. So it's like
right. I think the thing with Christian is the thing that I've noticed about him is since year one to where we are with him now. Is he's so much more consistent than I've ever seen him. His play is like to another level to where, like you just said, he's the heart and soul of the defense. I totally agree with it. We kind of feed off of his energy, and him and Zach Sealer together's energy is just contagious. They both play with a very high motor. I think you got to pay the man a bag. He's consistently getting after the offensive line on the other side, resetting the line of scrimmage, making plays back there, TFLs. Oh man, I love the guy, dude. I think he's the heart and soul of a defense, just like Kendall said. You got to ink that dude back up.
Yeah, no, you do.
Davis.
So, yeah, Davis is pretty damn good too, man. He's real strong down there, stout at the point of attack. Love him too.
No, yeah, we're solid there. Like I said, our D line's better than our O line, that's for sure. You know, they got some studs. So we'll see. And like I said, our O line was starting to gel until we got nailed with the injury bug, unfortunately.
Right. That's right.
So hopefully, we just keep on doing what we've been doing. We're on a nice little winning streak here. So
hell yeah.
I don't want to get all negative Nancy once we start talking about all those numbers and everyone leaving. It gets us all down. But we are doing well, and it's a fun bunch to watch again. The Dolphins are actually fun to watch.
Yeah, we are fun. It's a fun football team.
In the top 3, we still have 3 picks in the top 3 rounds, right? We still have 1 second and 2 thirds. So
yeah.
I think we're in a great spot. Like I've been telling people from day one when we drafted Tua, like you find out Tua's the guy. We have the draft capital all around to be able to fill different holes in the team. You got him on a rookie contract. Mm-hmm. You just gotta draft better. You gotta hit better. You gotta hit more on the first rounds. And unfortunately and luckily at the same time, we don't have any more first round picks. But we've been able to hit on second round guys, third round guys. So it's fortunate thing that we haven't seen a lot this year is Tyndall be able to produce a little bit more. We haven't seen Eazy-E at all.
Not at all.
Don't really know what's going on with that situation.
Every week inactive. It's just he's on the active roster, but always inactive. But I don't know. The last I read, he wasn't picking up the system that great, but I don't know. Who knows?
And with the thought that Byron might not play another down as a Dolphin, I think that's one flaw that we can go ahead and put on Chris Grier, because you got multiple different corners, linebackers, you name it, offensive line that have went in the 4th and 5th round that we could have picked up. I mean, you got Woland right now, who is probably a top 15 corner in the league as a rookie, and he was a 5th round pick. Imagine our defense with him right now. Imagine there's a few linebackers. I think it was Muma.
I would have loved to get me some Chad Muma, dude. That'd have been dope, dog. I'd have loved that.
Well, we had lack of draft picks this year. This past year, we didn't have many. We didn't have much ammo, unfortunately. So
yeah, I scouted that Muma kid heavily, man. He would have fit right in over here, man. It would have been perfect.
And because Tyndall, you haven't even heard of.
I like Tyndall over Muma. I guess I was wrong. I guess I had to give that to you. But, Tyndall, I just think that he was the fastest linebacker coming out. I think him and Chris Harris from Alabama, they were the two fast speed guys. And I was like, look, we need a linebacker who can go, from one blade of grass to another and be able to take down Josh Allen. That's what we were looking at. We weren't really worried about, a run stopper or, different things like that. We needed somebody to go after and get the quarterback. And it was a little disappointing to see Tyndall not miss a few tackles in that Chicago Bears game.
It was rough.
It was rough for everybody.
I know we got to see him, though. Let's give him a little more time, like we just said about other rookies. We might be jumping up. He still could end up being the guy. Just, he definitely is not banging it out his rookie year. That's all. We'll see.
Definitely think he is still going to be the guy. You can't teach speed.
Nope.
You can't teach athleticism. I think the biggest thing is this year we have to get somebody who's going to be a true middle linebacker. If we're going to keep Baker, if we're going to do whatever with Baker, and we're going to, continue to develop Tyndall, we need to go get a true middle linebacker who can be that guy and allow Tyndall to go chase after the quarterback, can allow Baker to blitz. And you're seeing that with the Ravens when they went and got Roquan. You're seeing Patrick Queen have some of his best games after they went and got Roquan. So we need to do the same thing.
No, I agree with you.
Touching on that just a little bit. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead, man.
No, I'm just trying to do something on the back end. Oh, I lost him. He left. We always lose him right towards the end of the show. But anyway, he will be back here in a minute. So, but I don't know. You can go on, Kendall, because I don't know what he was about to talk about. Because I was trying to wrap up stuff here. Oh, here he comes back. I always lose you on the last few minutes of the show, Justin.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was trying to do stuff on my back end, so that's why. That's why you saw me moving on the computer, because I said, "Oh, it's almost time to wrap up here." So
yeah, we're reaching that hour.
Yeah. So anyway, what were you saying, Justin? Before you
got man, I don't even know. I lost my train of thought.
It's all good. Any closing remarks from you, Kendall?
I mean, I think we pretty much touched on it. Maybe we can, just highlight a few different things and hear a little bit more from you guys as far as maybe some score predictions or anything as far as the San Francisco 49ers game coming up on Sunday. And maybe touch on 3 things that you think the team has to do in order for us to win.
Well, Justin, I don't know if you're ready. I may wait till Friday before I give a total prediction, see who's playing for the Niners. What's the latest on CMC? I heard he was questionable the last I heard. Is he I would imagine he's playing though.
So. Yeah, I haven't heard the latest on that injury report yet for Christian. I will probably hold my score predictions back until later in the week as well, but I will tell you this. Like I already said, I think it's going to be a tight, grimy game. I think it's going to be a defensive battle. I think I'll give you the 3 things I think we need to do in order to win the game. In order to win the football game, I think you need to establish some sort of a running game or an offensive threat. You need to protect your quarterback and keep top right Tua. You need to keep Tua upright. And then I also think what you need to do is somehow come out of that thing with defensive touchdown, pick 6, or a special teams touchdown. Right. And I think that will go a long way in order to help you win the football game.
Yeah. Well, mine's kind of like a cliche, like every football week you go into, avoid the turnovers. And we've been doing that the past few weeks. We've been winning the turnover battle. Because I think, the 49ers have a good offense, but I think they have a hard time, driving all the way on us, because it's good as Jimmy G's play, he's not the kind of quarterback that normally kills the Dolphins, because he's not going to be like when our guys are running down the field, he's not going to be sneaking up 40 yards down the field running, so we do better against those quarterbacks that we can get in the pocket and get some pressure on. So I say, get pressure on Jimmy G, avoid the turnover, and like you said, special teams has got to get better all around, because the 49ers don't play around on special teams. So you definitely got to be solid. And you got to avoid allowing, like you said, it'd be good for us to get a return. We got to avoid them, because for whatever reason, our punt return team's just not that great.
That's terrible.
And then we don't get anything, and vice versa, hardly. You're happy when we just catch the damn ball and maybe get 4 or 5 yards up the field. So it's just been, Cedric Wilson at least I give him that. I don't feel nervous, because we've had returners in the past that used to make me nervous every time they were back there fielding the ball. So at least he's going to field it clean. But yeah, we just don't get the big return. So we'll see. So I agree with you guys for the most part, but definitely avoid the turnover.
Definitely should have kept Lynn Bowden for punt returns and kick returns.
Yep.
My three is probably going to be similar to what JP said about keeping Tua upright. I think the next 2 things are going to be all defensive. It's going to be, winning on first and second downs. If we can get them to multiple, 3rd and 6 plus situations, 3rd and long situations, then I think we win the game.
Hell yeah.
And then 2, with the turnovers, I mean, Jimmy G I think this is his longest stint without throwing an interception. So he's overdue. So we need to get him to turn the ball over. And I think again, that widens the gap.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think we're all on the same page. So
I like what Kendall said right there, man, with the first and second downs, man. I think you just hit on a super big time key for the game right there, Kendall.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'm definitely going to be looking at.
And you definitely don't want 3rd and long going against that team and whatever. So I mean, to us being elite on the 3rd down conversions this year, you still don't want facing that crew in the 3rd and 9, 3rd and 11, all these crazy numbers. You definitely want to keep it easier.
Hell yeah.
So anyway, Kendall, Justin and I already admit we're going to chicken out to make a prediction until later in the week, David. But since you're here today, what's your prediction with the Dolphins 49ers?
Oh, 28-24 Dolphins.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. You see,
I love
some points too, because I'm worried that our point production might be a little lower this week. But I might be overhyping the 49ers defense. I've only done a little bit of watching them, to be honest, like a couple of the primetime games and then a little bit in the red zone. I haven't really seen much of them. So, but I see their rankings, everywhere, like number 1 defense. So it scares me a little bit. But hey, that's why they play the game, as they say.
Yep, that's right.
All right, guys. Well,
It's gonna be a tough test for them. It's gonna be a tough test for us for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And thank you so much, Kendall, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Kendall.
Kendall, give yourself a shout out on Twitter. What's your Twitter name again?
15, I believe. Or follow me on Instagram at Kendall Mac 15. So
okay, Kendall Mac 15 on Instagram too. All right,
guys, for sure.
Anyway, and make sure you follow and subscribe here as we're growing. We're still just barely getting going here. This is like second week, I think, Justin, something like that. And then last week we cut short because of the holiday. So we're just getting going here, guys. We're going to try to bring fresh Dolphins content all the time. Just have fun with fellow Dolphin fans. So thank you guys for joining today. Make sure you like and subscribe. Fins up again, Kendall. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
First kick, I snap into action. When I'm digging in the trenches, get dominated off the line of scrimmage. Read and react quick to make it early diagnosis. Hit you with the quick release like Marino Danny dopeness. Explosive